My mom got my sister a Birkin and gave me this. Before we begin the story, take a moment to support us by liking, sharing, and subscribing. Your support means the world to our channel and helps us spread more shocking true stories to light. Now, let's get started. On Christmas night, my sister unwrapped her gift, and the entire room filled with her delighted squeal. "Oh my God, a Hermès Birkin? Mom, you're the absolute best," she gasped, holding the luxurious handbag high, as if displaying a crown jewel. I sat beside her, silently gripping a free grocery tote, a gift my mother had just handed me. The contrast couldn't have been more obvious. Mom chuckled, her eyes gleaming with satisfaction. "This suits you better, sweetheart. Luxury has never really been your style." My sister, Brielle, smirked as she ran her manicured fingers over the buttery leather of her Birkin. "Honestly, Amelia, where would you even take a nice bag? You don't exactly have the lifestyle for it." I didn't respond. I simply looked at her, then at the handbag in her hands, and smiled. She had no idea what that smile meant. The woman behind the smile. Far from the glittering holiday lights of my family's home, my world was different. One of precision, expertise, and quiet excellence. Olivia Hayes sat in her sleek, modern office in Manhattan, the city skyline glittering beyond the floor-to-ceiling windows. She glanced at her watch. A few more hours before her flight back home to Chicago. Everything was packed and ready. She picked up the Hermes wallet on her desk, running her fingertips over the smooth leather. She examined every detail, the impeccable stitching, the subtle sheen, the precise placement of the logo. A perfect piece. With a satisfied nod, she signed the certificate of authentication. As a senior authenticator at the International Luxury Brand Authentication Association, Olivia's signature wasn't just a formality. It was proof. Proof that an item was real. Proof that a piece of luxury was truly worth its name. A single mistake in judgment could mean thousands, even millions of dollars lost. She was one of the best in the industry, a talent revered by auction houses and collectors worldwide. Her trained eye could detect the tiniest imperfection, a microscopic stitch out of place, a counterfeit leather that even seasoned designers might overlook. And yet, back home, her career was nothing more than a vague concept to her family. Her phone buzzed. Mom flashed on the screen. Olivia sighed before answering. "Olivia, what time is your flight?" Eleanor Hayes' voice was bright, filled with anticipation. "Catherine is arriving this afternoon. And guess what? Her new boyfriend, Jeremy Winston III, is coming too. You know, of the Winston Jewelers family." Ah, there it was. That familiar note of pride. The same giddy enthusiasm her mother only ever reserved for Catherine. "Yes, Mom. My flight is at 6. I'll be there in the morning." "Couldn't you have booked an earlier one? I'm planning a special dinner for Catherine. It would be nice if you were here too." Olivia leaned back in her chair, closing her eyes. "I have work. I'll get there as soon as I can." Her mother barely acknowledged the answer before launching into the next topic. "You won't believe how well Catherine is doing. She was invited to a charity gala in DC last week, and her Instagram just hit 20,000 followers. You should really take some inspiration from her." Olivia said nothing, simply staring at the New York skyline. What Catherine called success was a carefully curated illusion, funded entirely by their parents. At 29, she still had no real career, no financial independence, just a glossy, social media perfect life crafted for attention. "Olivia, you're dressing up for Christmas, right?" Eleanor's voice took on a lighter, yet pointed tone. "Was there something wrong with what I wore last year?" Olivia asked, though she already knew the answer. "I just think you could put in a little more effort. Catherine's friends are very polished, and want to look presentable." A quiet pause. "I'll wear what I'm comfortable in. If that's an issue, I can always stay at a hotel." Her mother sighed in exasperation. "You're always so stubborn. Anyway, we'll see you tomorrow." The line went dead. Olivia placed her phone down and exhaled slowly. Her relationship with her family had always been complicated. While she had grown up valuing practicality and hard work, her mother and sister chased after status and spectacle. To them, Olivia's simple wardrobe and reserved nature weren't elegance, they were plainness. Her career, a prestigious position in an industry that required years of expertise, was reduced to looking at antiques or whatever. Not because she kept it a secret, but because they never cared enough to ask. A knock at her door pulled her from her thoughts. "Congratulations, Olivia." She turned to see James Morrison, a close colleague, stepping in with a grin. He placed a coffee on her desk. "Your bonus for catching that Louis Vuitton counterfeit came through. Nice work." Olivia smiled as she accepted the coffee. "Is this what you'll be bragging about to your family?" James teased. She allowed a small laugh. "They wouldn't understand. It's not exactly something they see as brag-worthy." James raised an eyebrow. "You're joking, right? You're one of the most trusted experts in the field. That Milan counterfeit ring got taken down because of you. Your family should be proud." Olivia shook her head. "Their idea of success is different. To them, it's about how extravagant your life looks, not what you accomplish." James smirked. "Then just tell them how much you make. That should get their attention." But Olivia just shook her head. "I don't care about that. I just want them to understand me." As she grabbed her suitcase and prepared to leave, she thought about her bonus. Her career, her independence. She lived comfortably, more than comfortably, but that didn't change her values. Luxury wasn't about owning expensive things. It was about living authentically. She packed her white cashmere sweater and black pants into her suitcase, choosing comfort and elegance over flash. Waiting for a taxi, she took a deep breath. She already knew what awaited her back home. Catherine's boasting, her mother's critical glances, the endless misunderstandings. But it was Christmas, and Christmas was meant to be spent with family, even if they didn't see her the way she wished they would. Home for the holidays. The familiar scent of cinnamon and pine filled the air as Olivia rang the doorbell of her family's home. She could already hear the laughter and chatter inside. The door swung open, revealing her younger sister, Catherine, standing in the entryway, dressed in a stunning designer dress that hugged her figure perfectly. Every strand of her golden hair was styled to perfection, and diamond earrings sparkled under the warm glow of the chandelier. "Olivia." Catherine greeted her with an air kiss before pulling her into a light hug, more for formality than affection. "Finally, you're here." Her tone wasn't cold, but there was a subtle condescension laced within it. Before Olivia could respond, Catherine eagerly held up a brand-new Chanel handbag, her eyes gleaming with excitement. "Look, an early Christmas present from Jeremy. Isn't it gorgeous?" Olivia glanced at the bag, her trained eyes immediately recognizing the craftsmanship. "It's lovely," she said simply, stepping inside. As she entered the warmly lit living room, her mother, Eleanor, stood in an elegant emerald green holiday dress, a champagne glass in hand. She looked her daughter up and down, her smile dimming ever so slightly. "Olivia, you finally arrived." There was that lingering disappointment in her mother's tone, that subtle disapproval. "How was your flight?" "It was fine, Mom." "No problems," Olivia replied, offering a small gift package. Eleanor accepted it, feeling its light weight. "Chicago chocolates. The same as last year." Olivia nodded. What she didn't say was that this wasn't just any box of chocolates. It was a limited edition, handcrafted selection from a renowned Parisian chocolatier. A delicacy nearly impossible to find outside of France. But, of course, the simple packaging didn't scream luxury, so her mother barely spared a glance. Catherine plopped onto the plush couch, crossing her legs. "Mom, tell Olivia about the charity gala." "Oh yes." Eleanor's face lit up. Catherine was invited to a prestigious gala in Washington, D.C. She was mingling with some of the most important people in the city. Catherine beamed, scrolling through her phone. "I met this influencer with over 1 million followers. She even commented on my Instagram post." Olivia listened silently, watching her sister bask in the attention. She didn't interrupt. She didn't argue. Instead, she turned toward the window, watching as snowflakes danced under the glow of the streetlights. It was going to be a long holiday, a gift wrapped in irony. Christmas Eve in the Hayes household was nothing short of extravagant. The dining room was adorned with sparkling lights. The fireplace crackled warmly, and an enormous Christmas tree stood in the corner, draped in shimmering gold and silver ornaments. After a lavish dinner, the family gathered in the living room for the long-awaited gift exchange. Eleanor, still beaming with excitement, picked up a beautifully wrapped box from under the tree. "Catherine, darling, this is for you," she announced, handing the gift to her younger daughter. Catherine squealed in delight, tearing through the wrapping paper with eager hands. As soon as she saw what was inside, she let out a dramatic gasp. "No way. A Hermès Birkin? Mom, are you serious? This is the best gift ever." She lifted the brown leather handbag into the air like a trophy, practically glowing with excitement. "I've been waiting for this. Everyone is going to be so jealous." Jeremy, who had been sitting beside her, nodded in approval. "That's wonderful, Kat. A real Birkin is an investment." But Olivia's expert eyes immediately caught the inconsistencies. The stitching was just slightly off. The texture of the leather wasn't quite right. The embossed logo, slightly misaligned. It was a fake, an obvious one at that. Catherine twirled around the room, hugging the bag to her chest. "This will totally boost my Instagram followers. I'm doing a full photo shoot with it tomorrow." Eleanor smiled proudly. "I knew it would suit you. A queen of high society like you needs that kind of prestige." Then, Catherine's excitement faltered just for a moment. "Wait, Mom, how much did this cost?" Eleanor waved a dismissive hand. "Oh, don't ask about the price of gifts, darling." Olivia remained silent, watching the exchange. Her mother was lying. There was no way this bag had come from an authorized store. No way she had paid the real price for a genuine Birkin. And yet, everyone was celebrating. Then, Eleanor reached for another gift. A small, simple brown paper bag tied with a thin ribbon. "Olivia, this is for you." Olivia accepted the bag, untying the ribbon carefully. Inside was a folded green cloth. She unfolded it, revealing a free eco-friendly grocery tote from a local supermarket. Silence. For a moment, the room felt unbearably still. Then, Catherine let out a tiny, stifled laugh. Eleanor shrugged, sipping her champagne. "Luxury items don't really suit you, dear. Isn't something practical more your style?" Catherine smirked, running a hand over her new Birkin. "Yeah, it's not like you have anywhere fancy to take a designer bag. You just go between work and home. This is more fitting." Jeremy shifted uncomfortably, clearly sensing the awkwardness, but said nothing. Olivia stared at the tote bag in her lap. She wasn't angry. She wasn't even surprised. She simply ran her fingers over the fabric, taking in the absurdity of it all. Every day, she worked with some of the most prestigious luxury brands in the world. She handled items worth more than their family home. She was trusted by collectors, designers, and international auction houses. And yet, her own mother and sister had reduced her to this, a woman unworthy of anything beyond a free grocery tote. Ironically, the luxury handbag Catherine was flaunting so proudly was a fake. A bad one at that. The irony was almost laughable. She looked up at her sister, then at the handbag, and smiled. It wasn't a bitter smile. It wasn't resentful. It was the kind of smile that came when you knew something no one else in the room did. Catherine noticed the way Olivia was looking at her bag. "Why are you staring at my Birkin like that?" she asked, a hint of nervousness creeping in her voice. Olivia simply shrugged. "No reason. It's a nice bag." Catherine let out a relieved laugh. "Right? Just imagine walking around with this. Everyone will be staring at me." Olivia ran a hand over the eco-tote in her lap. She knew something they didn't. They still didn't know, but they would. Soon. The truth beneath the luxury. After Christmas, Olivia returned to her office in New York, her mind still lingering on the events of the holiday. The irony of it all still made her smile bitterly. Her mother had spent a fortune, probably tens of thousands of dollars, on what she believed was a real Hermès Birkin. Meanwhile, Olivia, a globally recognized luxury authenticator, had been given a free grocery tote. Even funnier, the bag Catherine was so obsessed with, the one she had flaunted and posted all over Instagram, was a counterfeit. It was only a matter of time before the truth caught up to them. And that moment arrived sooner than she expected. 3 weeks later, Olivia was sitting at her desk, sorting through a new batch of authentication requests when her office phone rang. The screen flashed. Catherine. Olivia's brows furrowed. Her sister rarely called her directly. Hello. Olivia. Catherine's voice was practically vibrating with excitement. You won't believe this. What happened? I put the Birkin up for auction, and guess what? The highest bid is already at $80,000. Olivia's blood ran cold. Wait, what? Yeah, I figured since I already have this one, I might as well sell it and upgrade. I want one of those crocodile leather Birkins. Jeremy's mom has one, and I need it. Olivia's grip on the phone tightened. Catherine, listen to me. You need to take that listing down. Right now. Her sister groaned. Why? People are bidding like crazy. If I get this sale, I can buy an even better one. Olivia exhaled sharply. You don't understand. That bag isn't real. It's a fake. There was a pause. Then a light laugh. Oh, come on, Olivia. Mom bought it from a legitimate store. She paid a fortune for it. I don't care how much she paid. It's not authentic. Olivia's voice was firm, serious. And if you sell it under the claim that it's real, you could get into serious legal trouble. Fraud, Catherine, even if it's unintentional. Silence. Then, Catherine's voice came back, tinged with panic. You're joking, right? I'm not. I'm flying to Chicago tonight. Don't do anything until I get there. The moment of reckoning. By the time Olivia arrived at the family home that evening, tension filled the air. Catherine and Eleanor were both seated in the living room, worry etched into their faces. The infamous Birkin sat on the coffee table between them. Olivia set down her suitcase, took a breath, and walked over. Why did you rush here like this? Eleanor asked, her voice uncertain. Olivia ignored the question. Instead, she picked up the handbag. She had already known the truth weeks ago. But now, she was going to prove it. Reaching into her pocket, she pulled out a small magnifying glass and carefully examined the stitching, the logo, the hardware. Then, she placed the bag back down and looked at her family. It's fake, she said simply. Catherine gasped. Eleanor's face twisted in disbelief. That's ridiculous, their mother snapped. I bought it from an authorized boutique on Oakwood Avenue. It was $40,000. Are you telling me I was scammed? Yes, Olivia said, her voice softer this time. Mom, listen to me. Real Hermes Birkins are only sold in official boutiques. You can't just walk into some high-end shop and expect it to be real. Counterfeit rings operate exactly like this, tricking people into thinking they're getting a deal or an exclusive piece. Eleanor was shaking her head. No, I don't believe it. Catherine, on the other hand, had gone pale. But I already put it up for sale. What if someone finds out? What if? You need to take the listing down immediately, Olivia interrupted. And if you've already received any money, you need to return it. If not, you could be sued for fraud. Catherine scrambled for her phone, her fingers shaking as she deleted the auction. Eleanor still sat motionless, her hands clenched together. I can't believe this, she whispered. Mom, Olivia said gently, this isn't just about the money. You were a victim of fraud, and I can help you fix this. She pulled out her laptop and placed it on the coffee table. Within minutes, she had compiled an official authentication report, detailing all the telltale signs of the counterfeit bag, complete with photographic evidence. Then, she turned the screen toward her mother. At the bottom of the document was her title, Senior Authenticator, International Luxury Brand Authentication Association. For the first time, Eleanor and Catherine truly saw it. Not just a vague, Olivia works with handbags understanding. They saw her expertise, her authority, the work she had built her life around. Eleanor's lip trembled. You do all of this? I had no idea. Because you never asked, Olivia said softly. The room fell into a heavy silence. Then, Catherine spoke, her voice small. So what do I do now? First, you return the money to any bidders. Then, I'll file an official fraud claim with the police. There's a good chance the store that scammed Mom is part of a larger counterfeit operation. I'll work with the authorities to shut them down. Eleanor inhaled sharply. So, I could get my money back. Maybe, Olivia nodded. But this isn't just about money, Mom. It's about being smarter. About understanding real value. Catherine stared at the now worthless handbag in front of her, her face filled with something Olivia had never seen before. Humility. I feel so stupid, she muttered. Olivia reached over, squeezing her sister's hand. "It's not about feeling stupid," she said gently. "It's about learning." 1 year later, a different Christmas. A year passed. The counterfeit case Olivia had filed turned out to be massive, leading to the takedown of a high-profile luxury scam ring. Eleanor had testified, playing a key role in the case, and was partially reimbursed for her losses. But the real change wasn't in money. It was in her family. This Christmas, the Hayes home still glittered with holiday lights. But there was a different atmosphere, a softer warmth that hadn't been there before. Olivia stood by the fireplace, sipping hot chocolate as she watched the snowfall outside. "Olivia," Catherine called from behind her. She turned to see her sister, looking effortlessly elegant, not in an over-the-top designer gown, but in a simple yet refined dress. "It's time for gifts." This year, there were no overpriced status symbols. Instead, Catherine handed Olivia a beautifully hand-bound sketchbook for your travels, so you can sketch all the beautiful things you see. Eleanor handed her a framed collection of restored, old family photos. "Our real treasures," she said with a soft smile. And Olivia? She gave them something simple, a high-quality, elegantly designed tote bag. Inside, embroidered in delicate thread, were the words, "True value isn't in what you own. It's in what can't be seen." Catherine hugged the bag to her chest, tears in her eyes. "Now," she whispered, "I understand the meaning of that smile." Outside, snow fell in peaceful silence, and in the warmth of their home, a new kind of luxury had settled into their hearts. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit that like button, share this video with your friends, and subscribe for more real-life family dramas. Let me know in the comments what you think about today's story. Was it fair or totally messed up? See you in the next one.